Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about Ethereum, its valuations against Bitcoin, um, and talking about how we have yet to experience a significant drop by any means. And I'm very serious about that. If we look at the current cycle, okay, if we mark the low to say December 2019, for example, um, because as you can see, that is essentially where the bottom was, and we have been rising in valuation ever since. The trend is still up from that time. We have yet to experience a significant, drop. Here's a 30% correction from the candle body to the candle body. Here is a 29% correction. This here was a 23% correction, and the correction that we just had, say from here to here, was about 25%. Now, 25% is a lot, right? Like no one wants their valuation to be cut by a quarter. However, if we look at the prior cycle, we know that larger drops can happen. This is a 63% drop. From here to this candle body, it's a 50% drop. From here to here was also a 50% drop. And mind you, the all-time high to here was an 80% drop. These are common occurrences within Ethereum cycle. We have yet to experience that. You can argue that with a higher market cap valuation, the volatility is lessened, and therefore the moves up and the moves down are um, compromised in that sense, where it doesn't necessarily move as high and move as low. But I would still believe that because it's an Ether Bitcoin ratio, and it's the price difference between the two, that their percentages will be relatively similar. In which case, my argument still stands in my opinion that Ethereum is capable of 50% corrections, and we could be in the midst of one right now because of the current environment. Ether Bitcoin is at the 20-week moving average, or just wick to it actually. Remember the 20-week moving average is at 6.7 million satoshis. Um, Now, the 20-week moving average isn't necessarily the best like indicator for bounces for Ether Bitcoin. Yeah, we kind of bounced it off here, but we went way below it here. We went below it here. And last cycle was no different. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Essentially, right? However, it can't help indicate a potential move to the further downside, right? If we break the 20-week moving average, then we know that these moves are now on the cards. They're on the table at the moment. And so that is kind of what I'm waiting for. I've sold a good chunk of my Ethereum back in May. This move right here, I sold it back into Bitcoin, and I've been, I still have Ethereum, and it's still my second largest position, but I've sold a good chunk of it. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm waiting. Um, there is the theory of Ethereum bleeding in Q4, which worked very well last cycle, and evidence has shown that it does seem to be the case every year. Around in the quarter four, Ether Bitcoin's valuation tends to drop, and it's the best relatively the best time to buy your Ethereum. And so that's essentially what I'm waiting for. And that's why it seems so almost written too perfectly. I'll be completely honest. Bitcoin being at the 20-week moving average, things are pretty tense at the moment. Ether Bitcoin is also at the 20-week moving average. And we know if it breaks, then further capitulation is possible. I mean, even this was a 16% correction. And if you're able to get a 17% discount on your Ether with your Bitcoin, then that's great, right? 50% would be even better, in my opinion. But we'll see, right? We'll see. This is just a theory, right? We only have evidence for one cycle, okay, one cycle, and I would consider, maybe two cycles, right? Two cycles, but again, Ethereum is capable of 50% drops. We have yet to see one. And I'm pretty confident to think that at some point during this cycle, before Bitcoin hits a market cycle peak, let me clarify with that. 50%, everyone knows that 50% corrections are indicative of the starting of the bear market, but they could also happen during a bull market. And that is my argument with Ethereum. And so that's why I think at some point, 50% correction of Ethereum um, at some point in the market cycle is possible, is very possible. Anyway, that's essentially it with Ether Bitcoin. Ether USD is in the same situation. We're at the 20-week moving average. We wick to it. The 20-week moving average during a bull run is a little bit more comparable. I mean, like you have evidence of it holding, but you also have evidence of it breaking down and then coming back up, right? So it's not necessarily as useful with Ethereum than with Bitcoin, but it's something to keep in mind, right? If we break further down, then we could see something like what we saw in May, where we break down further, from a high of like $4,700, wicking as low as 1685, right? That is something that can happen, uh, and we just have to wait and see. Essentially, Bitcoin needs to hold the 20-week moving average in order to keep the integrity of the cycle intact, right? If Bitcoin breaks the 20-week moving average again, it's going to be frustrating for most. I think we'll be bailed out in the end, but I think it becomes clear to a lot of people, if not already. I hope that it comes clear to people that this cycle is going to take a lot longer than it did last cycle, right? We've already broken the 20-week moving average in during a bull market, right? Where we haven't done so in a very long time, right? The only other occurrence was here. And if we were to break it a second time, well, there you go. It becomes a unique cycle in that sense where it's only happened this cycle. But that's essentially it for Ethereum, you guys. Keep your risk in check. Altcoins are going to be. I mean, you can hold your altcoins. I don't. It doesn't matter, but expect altcoins to struggle at the very least, while Bitcoin is trying to figure its way out against 20-week moving average yet again. Anyway, that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.